Okay, welcome back everybody to A Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, but then slightly different. We're gonna do a quick randomizer, so I'll give it just a little bit for my host or for my tech guy to get ready on the timer, and then we can get started. It's rather noisy in here, so I hope you guys don't hear too much of that. But yeah, we should be fine either way. Ready when you are? Starting in 3, 2, 1. Go. And, right off the bat, this is an open mode randomizer, and we start off with Quake Jewel. That's rather convenient. So I guess I should really quickly explain. This is Link to the Past in the way that you know Link to the Past, but it's slightly different in that it's a randomized version of Link to the Past. Basically what that's going to mean is that every item is in a different position. Every crystal has been randomized, every chest has been randomized, just about everything basically has been randomized. My goal is to gather the 7 crystals, the 7 maidens basically, unlock Ganon's tower and defeat Ganon and therefore save the world. That's really just about it. Now right off the bat, there's a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to kill that guy, and I'll pull some rupees from this. What that would drop is random, and I was hoping for some bombs to drop out, basically. Now, unfortunately, they weren't bombs. These, however, are, so those are quite convenient. That'll at least mean I won't be short on bombs anytime soon. So, let's see what's up next. Okay, so there's 50 rupees in here, which means that, at least on account of rupees, I don't have to do a fight with Aghanim, which is actually quite useful information for me. It tells me a little bit of what I actually need to do and what I won't. So onto the forest. There's 3 items in the forest that we're going to look at. We're just going to avoid this bird. Thank you. I want to walk around, see what it is. One of the 3 items I can't actually access yet because it's in the Master Sword pedestal. Nor can I actually know what's in there yet because that too has been randomized. Down we go and we find the bow. Okay, that is quite the starting item right there. Remember the last time I did a randomizer, I got all the way through the game except for the last dungeon, and I still hadn't found the bow. It was quite painful. So an early bow, really useful there. Now off to the biggest haul of items in the entire game. We're gonna go into Kakariko, which is basically like the village, which has like 5 places with items or something. It's a lot. It's very useful. So I'm going to see what I can find here. Ideally, I want to have about 100 rupees coming out of the second part. There's 5 chests in this one, and then there's 5 more in the next one. And I want to have about 100 rupees coming out so I can buy what would usually be the bottle. But that might not quite be a bottle anymore. So that's 20. It's a heart piece. More heart. It's a lot of heart pieces here. Okay, that 50 rupees is going to help quite a bit, so that's quite useful. Now there's 5 rupees under each of these pots. I'm going to pick these up to help me get to the 100 rupees I wanted. So so far so good. Let's get out of this place. We have the 100 rupees. That's a good sign. At least means we have enough money to buy the bottle from the vendor. So off to the cave over here. Let's see what we can find in terms of items. Let's just throw a bomb that way. Heart piece. Heart pieces are nice, although I'd rather have actual pieces of heart, or rather have actual hearts instead. So far, not a great amount of items here, but you never know. 300 rupees in that last chest, quite useful right there. So I want to have about 500 rupees to pay off Zora for what would normally be the flippers. It could be just about anything at this point. With 4 heart pieces gathered, we at least get our extra heart. I'm gonna quickly, okay, so I know that I need to do Hera and I need to do the Desert Palace, but I can potentially skip Eastern Palace. It's useful information right there. Clipping the bird through the wall because why not? The flippers, so we can actually start swimming soon. The flippers open up a few potential items. Could be quite useful to get that. There's one item I can't get yet because I don't have any bottles, so I can't ask the sick kid for the bug net. And a little bit more money. Okay. So we're going to go south from here, and there's 2 more places I can check. One of which I can't actually get the items until I get the boots. But it is interesting to check there. The other one, I can go there, but I'm going to first just look over to see what it is. Because it's rather time-consuming to just immediately go for it. A couple of rupees, so I won't have to go back there. That's quite convenient. Let's jump off the ledge here, see what's over on the other end. A piece of heart. Now, I could pick that up. It could help me get more life, but I mean, I shouldn't really need that, so I'm going to just skip on it for now. So off to Shahajrala, who is hiding a couple of items. I want to see what he has. I might actually make a dip into Eastern Palace because I can actually complete it. I might not have arrows, but I do have the bow. Going in there without needing to, so always might seem like a bit of a risky play, but this version of the randomizer tends to be quite dungeon heavy. So I preferably just see what dungeons have rather than go for overworld stuff. Then again, I don't have the sword right now, so that makes it a little bit harder on me if I would go there. Well, we'll see. We'll see. First, we've got 3 chests over here. A lot of money. More bombs. And blue mail. Well, now my tunic doesn't match anymore. That's kind of sad. But the blue mail, quite a bit of extra defense. Doesn't hurt to be able to protect myself a little bit better. Well, let's go over to Desert, I guess. I'm gonna just damage boost through him. I don't have any way of actually getting rid of him otherwise, so a damage boost works quite well. So I'm kind of trying to squiggle my way through these stairs. If done well, you get just enough speed to be able to avoid the guard, which I did get. It's quite useful. And into Desert, or into Eastern Palace we go. So Eastern Palace contains a total of 3 items and 3 dungeon items. So I'm gonna just see what I can get from this place. So over to the other side, this is where the first chest is gonna be. Ideally, I want to see all of the chests without having to go through dark rooms. Big key. Okay, that's one of the important dungeon items. I actually do need that to complete this place. Yeah, because I got hit there, I got the big ball there earlier, because of which I actually got hit. It's kind of like it happens sometimes. It's kind of a tight window you have to go for. So let's see what the second chest is going to hold. Some more money. So that means one of the 3 items in this place is now done. I know what it is. So I won't have to go back there, but it's kind of unfortunate that it was money. Ideally, I want to see something along the lines of a sword. I'm going to grab myself an extra heart there just for safety. And in this next room, we actually have a really cool trick coming up. So there's 4 skeletons that are supposed to spawn. I'm going to try to only get 2 to actually spawn. There we go. That's perfect. Perfectly executed. A fairy in a bottle. So that's number 2. Now, if I find the item before I have to go for the boss, I don't actually have to go for the boss. I know it's not going to contain anything of use. I am going to get some arrows, which will make things a little bit easier later on. The map. Okay, so I'm going to have to do some rooms in the dark. Doing rooms in the dark is kind of finicky, usually. Not something I'd ideally want to do, especially without possession of a sword. I hope I can do this, because I've got very little audio cues this time around. So I have to do this a lot based on visual cues, and that's pretty difficult. Okay, I got the key. Okay, we got through that room. This is, especially without the sword, one of the hardest things to do. Ah, crap. Okay, I didn't get it. That's fine. In that case, I'm just gonna move on. Oh, actually, I had the ferry. Right. Good stuff. That means we can still finish it anyway. Yeah, hello? Where? Okay, there we go. There we go. That's a really difficult part to do, especially without both the sword and the lantern. It's not a lot of runners that can actually pull that off properly, but with practice, you know. The hook shot. Okay, I was not disappointed. That was a really solid play in the end. Definitely made the smart choice to do that. So the hook shot is going to give me a lot of extra movement options because it's a lot faster to move with using the hook shot, as well as making me capable of killing a lot of enemies a lot faster. Really, really useful find there. I can also stun certain enemies and I can kill certain enemies. So all in all, it's just a really, really useful item. Hookshot is always one of those things that you really want to see early, and getting it like that is perfect. I did also, on top of that, get some information about the way that this randomizer is set up, in that it means that I'm not supposed to get the hookshot before finding the lantern. That doesn't necessarily say a whole lot, but it is really, really good information. Because now I know that the lantern has got to be out there somewhere that's not locked behind the hookshot. Which means, for example, it can't be in the later part of Swamp Palace. It can't be in Death Mountain unless I found both the mirror and the hammer. In that case, it can be. So it's always it's good information, basically. And just throw a bomb over there. The bomb is already ticking down its clock, basically, as it's as I'm waiting for it anyway. I didn't really need that fairy. Okay, if I can get that last mini Moldorm, cool. So there's 5 items behind this place, and that's why I figured I'd check here. Money, the gloves are good. Red meal, so now we've got the strongest armor in the game, and we found the sword. That is an amazing haul at this place right there. So the gloves combined with the hook shot and the sword is going to give me access into Death Mountain, which is where the biggest part of items is going to be. We can get a lot of items really, really soon now. I'm going to check one more place, which is the hobo under the bridge. I could also go for Zora, but I'll skip that for a little bit later on. I always like checking the hobo first and then go for the remainder, basically. Now, because we have the flippers, I could normally set up for a glitch here, the fake flippers. Pretty tricky glitch. It's frame perfect, but it's pretty fun to do. But because of having the flippers already, I won't have to go for it. That's a lot more money again. We're getting a lot of money in this seed, I'll say that much. I'm going to start off at the Sanctuary, and well, before we go for Death Mountain, I'm going to make one more stop around here. Which is a part of Escape that we haven't actually looked into yet. So let's go down here. Let's see what it has. Let's actually switch to the bombs, and let's go. So there's 3 chests here. There might be one that could be the map. Money, arrows, and the red cane. Okay, the Cane of Samaria is actually probably a required item. So quite a useful item for the late game. There's 2 dungeons for which I do need it. So if either of those 2 is required, then I'd need it anyway. If not for that, it also gives me a bonus just on account of being able to use it for Ice Palace. And it just giving me a couple of bonuses here and there. It's a quite useful item, being able to spawn the blocks. As well as it unlocking the right side of Ganon's tower, so it could potentially be required for that as well. So even though the first 2 items were kind of useful, that last one made more than up for that. Get a few more bombs. So we're going to do another room in the dark here. Now I have the sword, luckily, so I can kind of navigate my way through here with the use of the sword. Okay, I need to go up a bit. So we're basically picking up the old man. Now I'm going to go down here. This is basically going to get me all the way to the end. Now it's just down. We'll kill the bat. Really smooth right there. That's how you get up to Death Mountain, even though you don't have the lantern yet. Stun that guy. He's rather annoying. And another piece of heart. So Death Mountain has a ton of items. We're going to go up first, check the 2 items over there. Then I'm going to jump down, use the hookshot to get to the right side and check whatever is over on that end. Death Mountain is always quite a notorious place to go through because of all the falling boulders. Especially without the boots, it's rather tricky to navigate sometimes. So first I'm going to see what's on the ledge. I can't access that without the mirror, but it's good. It's the flute. Okay. So once I get the mirror, I now know that I need to go back there in order to get the flute. There's 50 rupees over there, so I don't need to get that. The flute is going to get me quite a bit of movement options. Definitely going to speed things up again. I jump down on the edge here, and that gets me right here, which is going to give me access to the right side of this place. This is what I meant with the hookshot giving a lot of movement options. Just being able to hookshot through that helps quite a bit in getting this done fast. Now I'm gonna go in here. There's first 7 chests that I want to look at, and then I'm gonna attempt something called a bomb jump. I'm gonna try to make use of a bomb to get over a ledge. You're not really supposed to do that. It's not required to be done, but it would speed things up a little bit, which, you know, since it is a speedrun after all, is quite useful. The other gloves. I might actually not do the bomb jump in that case. I'm trying to think. No, I don't have the mirror yet, so we'll still do the bomb. Okay, yeah, I don't have the mirror yet. This is kind of the routing on the fly that you kind of have to do with these randomizers, and it's one of the things that I personally find the most interesting about the randos. You're constantly thinking of how can I route this out now that I've found a new item of sorts. Let's see what's over here. More money. Our first actual heart container. Okay, so here we go. This is pixel perfect, so I'm going to pay attention here. I want to stand on exactly the correct pixel. Okay, I went too far. You need to be on like the most leftmost pixel that you can. I'm going to try it again because I want to show this off. It's a really cool trick. Basically, I want to get to the other side of this ledge, and I want. Okay, that's good. That should be good. So I'm going to place the bomb here. I'm just going to wait for it to explode. Okay, I was 1 pixel off anyway. So if you're on exactly the right pixel, and there's 1 pixel that you can do that on, the bomb would actually push you to the other side, and I wouldn't have to walk around like this. But we're going to do the walk of shame here. It is. This is one of the easier bomb jumps. There are a few significantly bigger ones, significantly more important ones, but also significantly harder ones. They're all just, you're all just going to try to use those to just save a little bit of time here and there. This one in particular is not that important. Most of the minor bomb jumps I don't really know how to do, but that's just a really cool one to show off if you can get it. So on to the slowest dungeon in the entire place. This is Swirly Cave. There's 1 item locked behind it, and it's quite tedious if you don't have the boots. The reason I'm going this way is that after I get out of this, because of having the Titan mitts, I can go into the Dark World and Super Bunny to get 2 more items. I can't get everything yet, but I can kind of sequence break again to get to unlock 2 items, unless I found the Moon Pearl here. I did not. Using the hookshot there to get some invincibility frames and not get hit. So there is a clip in this next part that I can't do because I'm going to be in bunny state. We're going to change into Bomberman, by the way. Our bunny sprite for Frog. I'm playing as Frog from Chrono Trigger, by the way. But the bunny pattern is going to be Bomberman. So we're going to Bomberman through this cave and be the really, really powerful Bomberman that can actually open up chests. He's quite useful. Basically, the way that the glitch works is if you fall down at any given moment, as you're in your bunny state, the game thinks, okay, there's no place where that can happen, so you therefore must be in your regular state. You can't do everything in that state because you are still as a bunny, but it does unlock you to actually be able to open up chests. So I can't, for example, use the hook shot like that. That doesn't do anything. However, these two chests here I can actually open up because of that. The Book of Medora and the heart, another heart container. And the book is quite useful because it opens up a few places later on. I'm gonna go to, let's see, I think this is the smartest one. I'm gonna go to Zora, and I'm gonna kind of take the slow way around. There's 4 items around Zora that I can get. One costs me 500 rupees, but I've got more than enough money to work with. There's 2 in a hidden cave behind a waterfall, which I'm going to pick up. And then there is 1 more on a ledge, which we'll pass a little bit earlier as we're going there. Wanted to get rid of that bird. He was going to be annoying. So over here, there's this little warp portal over here. It's quite useful. So off we go. So first things first, we're going to go up here, because behind this waterfall, there's actually 2 chests hidden. Okay, the bombs and a arrow capacity upgrade, so quite useless. That's fine though. Those crabs deal a ton of damage, so we want to avoid them at all costs. ₹50 on the ledge, so that's not going to be anything useful either, because I've got more than enough money to get through the game. So I guess as we're going towards Zora, I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Yume Tsubasa. He was actually the one to provide me with this seed. To get a seed that wasn't going to be super... Wow. So I just paid him 500 rupees and I got 20 in return. So not a great trade right there. Yeah, Yume Tsubasa, another randomizer runner, he provided me with the seed in order to be able to actually get a seed that wouldn't take significantly too long. It's actually a seed he ran for one of his tournament matches. So we've got a pre-tested seed just for the sake of marathon safety. So since we've basically checked most of the major locations at this point, I'm going to go to Escape because we've never checked there and there's quite a few items left. So let's see what we get here. We're going to get 1 item from the uncle, and then there's 1 more item in the sewers here. And then the rest is going to be in the cave itself. A single rupee is his last bit of money as he passes away, I guess. Stun the 2 guards. I'm going to pick up the health, or the magic real quick. The hammer. That actually means that as soon as I find the Moon Pearl, I've got access into the Dark World. And we can basically get just about everywhere. I've already had access to the Dark World on 1 location, but this opens up a lot more places. It's quite something. Not to mention the hammer is one of the most required items in the game, so happy to see that early. So off to Escape. Let's see what kind of items we're gonna find here. Not having the running shoes, I'm going to make optimal usage of my hook shot right there. There we go. He's going to drop us a key and the lantern. So that means we won't have to do any more dark rooms then. So I kind of was supposed to do this earlier then. That's quite interesting. So we're just gonna run past all of these guards. They're not particularly good guards. They don't even notice me here. This next guard is rather easy to kill. We just swing with the sword. 1 more chest over here. I'm gonna try to get a quick kill on this guy. Got it. So basically what I do is I poke the guy, as I'm releasing my sword so that I poke and then immediately swing, and that deals the 3 damage required to instantly kill him. It's a bit of a tough quick kill, but it's really cool when you get to do it. So next up is the big boss of this place. First, this guy. I'm just gonna stun him. I might as well just throw a pot his way to kill him off. He gets me the big key of this place. Let's see what we got. The Master Sword. So that is quite a few good items in Escape there. There's one more item that I'm going to check, but I'm going to check it from the other side because it's slightly faster for me to do it that way. Because I already found the map, I know it's going to be something. I just don't know what. So Master Sword in hand. We're going to go this way. Let's see what we got. It's the last item in the escape sequence. This is not how you're normally supposed to do it. This is kind of a backwards escape. There's one rat around here somewhere that has a key. And there we go. We got him. It's always one of those 2 on the right, or on the left there. It can be a little bit finicky to see which one it actually is, because of the longer path that you have to take there. But we got him first try. That's to open up the locked door over here. We can actually get the chests. A red potion. Okay. Cool. Now, the one thing I'm still missing is the Moon Pearl. And the Moon Pearl is something I really want to have early, because the later you get it, the harder it gets. I'm going to check one more cave. If I don't find it there, I'm going to go into Hera, because that is a dungeon I need to complete anyway. And, well, we can just go there, you know. The downside is, because I don't have the mirror yet, it's kind of the long way around that we'd have to take. But there is 3 items in that direction that I can look for. Reason being, there's this one item which is going to be in a small little cave way on the edge here. It's quite far out of the way, but I figured I'd check it real quick anyway. If it contains nothing, it's a bit of a waste of time, but if it does contain something big, it could be massive. Especially if it was the mirror, then it would save me a lot of time, because then I can get the flute as I'm going to the mountain anyway. Slightly too optimistic with my bomb there. Just 10 arrows. That's really unfortunate. So after the mountain, I'm gonna talk to the old man. He's gonna give me some extra health. So the downside of being able to do this, but not having the mirror, is that I have to go all the way around Death Mountain to reach Hera. The upside is there is guaranteed 3 items that I'll be able to get on the way. And if I find the mirror, I can get the 4th item, which is the flute, on my way out. So it could be pretty big, but it could also be really, really bad. We'll see what happens. So yeah, especially without the boots, this is a really slow path to climb. But I feel it's about time we completed our first dungeon. Hera is not a particularly difficult dungeon, but it does have a couple of mean little things I'm going to have to look out for. But first things first, because I have both the book and the Master Sword, I can actually go to the Ether Tablet and see what that has. So let's see what we got here. With the use of the Master Sword, let's open up the tablet. It's just money. That's unfortunate. So into Hera we go. So there's 2 items in Hera itself. They can be on any of the spots. Ideally, I would like to not have to go into the lower parts of Hera, but we might be forced into it. So that's one of the 2 places that's not going to have anything I need. Let's see what this has. Okay, we're going to be forced into the lower part. However, we've got one really cool trick for which I can use the Cane of Samaria that I found earlier. Let's see if I can get it first try. This is a really cool little trick. Okay, here we go. I'm going to switch into the Cane of Samaria. I'm going to place a block. That's not going to do it. Ooh, I didn't get it there. That's unfortunate. Okay, there we go. So now I can just wait the rest of it out. Won't have to do anything. This can be a little bit difficult, but basically, because I'm on something, while these blocks are flying, I'm get the invincibility frame because of being on top of it. So these things don't actually hit me, and I can just kind of clip through there, get to the other side. I'm a little bit short on magic, so I'm gonna just get some magic in this place. I already know this is going to be the big key because that's the only item I haven't found yet. Unfortunately, I don't actually have a way to mirror back to the start. So we're just going to have to walk back here. Right, that's kind of a thing. Maybe I should actually pay attention to what I'm doing. This can potentially be the downside if you don't have the mirror going into this place. We don't need the bombs. We've got more than enough, and we're going to pick up a few more here anyway. That's how you get through that room quite quickly. And through this part we go. This is why it had to be the big key. It's going to cross that ledge over there. Doesn't really matter much. It's kind of unfortunate I didn't actually get to hit him. So, having found the bombs now, I know that either the big chest or the boss is going to have the last remaining item. We're going to check the big chest real quick, see if it has anything. If it doesn't, then we're going to just go for the boss, kill it off, see what that is. I'm really hoping for either the mirror or the moon pearl. That'll do. That will do. That means I can get the flute on the way out, and it actually opens up quite a few options later on as well. I'm trying to think what that means logic-wise, but this is definitely going to open up a few more options for me. On to Crrool. This is Moldorm. He tends to just push you off. We're going to try to see if we can get a quick kill on him. This is one of the harder bosses early on. But we got a really clean fight there. It's even harder if normally you'd only have to master your sword, and that makes it even more difficult. But with master, it's 3 spins to kill him off. But one wrong hit, and he pushes you off, and you just have to redo the entire fight. So now for why I wanted to have that mirror just now. Basically, what I get to do here is I get to jump off here. We're going to make a quick stop in the Dark World, change into Bomberman again, because Bomberman is pretty cool. And go up here, and that gets us the flute. Now that we have the flute, we're going to unlock Swagbird. And with that, we basically have the possibility to go just about everywhere in the map, except I don't have the Moon Pearl yet, so I can't actually access most of the Dark World yet. Once I can access the Dark World, everything opens up to us. And depending on the dungeons, we're getting fairly close to having everything I need in general. Definitely turning out to be a pretty quick seed, even though I only have one of the crystals yet. So time to unlock Swagbird right here. Before I'm going to fly off, I'm going to talk to the Sick Kid again, because I actually now have bottles, so he'll give me an item as well. So let's see what Sick Kid is going to give us, and then we'll just fly off, start exploring some more stuff. A heart piece. Okay, not what I would have liked, but that works. So all over Hyrule we go. Okay, so there's another bottle on the ledge there. Okay, we're gonna do a bit of a different strat here. I wanted to know what that item was. Now, because I don't have the Moon Pearl yet, I can't actually look at most of this stuff. But we've got a few things we can do here. First of all, we can check what's required. It's not Turtle Rock and not Ice Palace. So the two most annoying dungeons we don't have to go into. I want to see what the medallion there is, because that too has been randomized. It's the Quake medallion, which is the only one I already have, so that's quite good. Okay, the bird is really not letting me go here. Okay, that was interesting. I hope I can actually take the portal back. Just 20 rupees. I cannot. Okay. That kind of sucks. I was just too far to the left there. What? That's not where I went. Game, please. This happens sometimes when you get a double input. Basically, the reason I want to go through it through this is because this allows me to go through most of Desert without actually, or just in the most optimal way I can, basically. Without having to redo any parts or anything. Because this gets me right here on the ledge. I can already finish up the boss, which, assuming that is if I can find the big key. It's the only thing I'm still lacking to be able to do that. So first things first, I'm going to see what's on the pillar here. The map, that's good. Having the map on the pillar there means I can actually complete this entire place, even though I don't have the boots. So the boots are not actually required for this, which normally they would be. Small key, that unlocks the right side of this. I've got to take a little bit care of my health situation, though. 2 hearts is not a lot to work with. It should be more than enough, but it's kind of finicky. There's the big key. I'm gonna quickly pick up that heart there, just for a little bit of extra safety. The advantage is I can now just warp back to the start, and we can do the last part. Since I haven't actually seen any of the items yet, I know both the big chest and the boss have an item. And both could potentially be required items. Okay, some bombs. I don't really need the bombs. So the advantage of taking this entrance is I can now just get out and immediately head over to the boss over here. I'm surprised I haven't found the boots yet. Generally, you kind of want to have the boots as early as possible just to increase movement speed, but we haven't been lucky enough to actually get it early on. Ooh, that fairy is good. That gets me a lot of health in the health situation. With that, the next boss should be pretty free. So contrary to the usual game, I can just skip over the bottle quite easily. It's quite helpful. So since I don't have have any really good... I don't have silver arrows. I don't have a fire rod. So I'm gonna just have to do this with the sword. It's quite a dumb battle with the sword. Just trying to get as many hits in as possible. Slightly too late on my spin there, and that kind of threw me off. Hey, that's one of the 3 down. We're getting hits in, but it's taking a while to get these down right now. That's kind of the downside of not having silver arrows, fire rod, or a better sword. Was hoping to get a kill on that one. I think it's like 1 or 2 more hits and then he should be down as well. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there it is. There is our Moon Pearl. Off to the Dark World we go. So that's 2 crystals down. Access to most of the Dark World, so let's do this. There's a few ways I can access the Dark World right now. The way that I'm going to go for is by just going into Kakariko. I pressed twice, game, please. My controller has been either giving me a double input or eating some inputs here and there, but that's not a big deal. There's a few items that I want to look at, and hopefully I'm going to find a little bit more health, because I'm slightly uncomfortable with this with only 7 hearts. And then from there, we're going to go into getting the 3rd of the crystals into Thieves Town. Thieves Town is a pretty cool dungeon. Pretty useful dungeon as well. Shouldn't be any major problems to get there. First, we've got a bit of a chest game coming up, and this is supposed to be random, but because it's a randomizer, it's not random anymore. It's always the second chest. Silver arrows. Okay, that is big. That is really big. Silver arrows are one of the items that casually are required to beat the final boss, but in the speedrun are not actually required, but are still very, very helpful. It's also going to help me on both the bosses of Meyer and potentially some other ones here and there. Thinking of which of the other bosses that are actually required would need it, but especially for Meyer, it could potentially help me make a 1 cycle on Meyer. So into Thieves Town. Thieves Town has 4 items, so it's always a good place to check, and it's required anyway. Not to mention, all of the items are kind of on the way. Just a really convenient place to check. I'm still looking for the boots. That's like the biggest thing I'd like to find right about now. We already found magic powder, and that's going to be a lot of help in terms of safety. Again, not required, but very useful to find. It's going to help me get some fairies. Just nice for the health situation, all in all. So an anti-fairy hit me there, but I'm not really too worried about it because I couldn't run anyway. That's number 2, the bombs. 2 more items to find. Rupees. So far, magic powder is the biggest thing we found, and there's only 1 item left. I actually got hit there. Wow. So on to the second half. Like I said, this place is I'm gonna need to do it anyway, so. Don't really need those bombs anymore. I'm trying to think of what the next smart play would be in terms of like dungeons. Because there's quite a few I can finish. I can finish Swamp. I can finish the Palace of Darkness. They're both required, so got a good few options. I can finish Meyer as well, although Meyer is not an option you usually go for early because there's only 2 items there. So the advantage of the hook shot is that these guys all just die with one hit of the hook shot. Kind of gotta wait for that to explode in order to actually be able to get the boss to spawn later. Doing these seeds bootless is always kind of interesting because when you're playing no major glitches or you're playing 100%, which are both categories, by the way, we'll be doing on the Get Yourself Speedrunning a little bit later. But with either of those, you always have the boots here, so you never really practice to do this bootless. Always makes things a little bit more interesting when you don't have it, even though it feels a little bit slower. It's the key. Okay. So we know now that either the boss or the big chest is going to be the last item. Therefore, I'm going to check the big chest because I don't want to have to backtrack for it. And if it's big, it could be absolutely massive. Hammer. It's the shovel. Okay, so the shovel is an interesting item because it unlocks exactly one other item. I don't know if it's going to be useful, but it could be. So I already know now that the boss isn't going to give me anything useful, but the boss is required anyway, so that doesn't matter. Not a massive haul, all in all, from Thieves Town. Still, we'll see if I can get the quick kill on this boss. So this is Blind. He's always a fun boss to do because with whichever sword you have, it's always 9 hits to kill him. It always takes exactly 9 hits, whether it's Master Sword or Fighter Sword, which is why this is always a good early dungeon. And that was a pretty quick fight. Wasn't entirely perfect because I missed a hit early on, but aside from that, it was basically perfect. Played that pretty well. That's 3 crystals down, 4 more to go. Out of which 3 I can already do. The only one I can't do is Skull Woods because I need to have the fire rod for it. Aside from that, I think we have almost everything to complete the game to begin with. I really like to find the boots, though, even though they're not required. I'd preferably not do a bootless seed. I mean, the hook shot works quite well, and it serves its purpose, but it's far from ideal. I'm gonna rescue this guy. There's quite a few items around here that I can check for. One of which I would have to peg all of these pegs down. I'm not going to do that yet because I'm hoping to find the boots in the next 2 items so that I can show off another really cool trick, the hammer dash. There's a lot of minor glitches that we can do in this game. Kind of help us save like minor amounts of time. It wasn't over there, which means that we've got one more chance. Which is by asking the magic bat to see what he has to say. Normally this guy gives you half magic. Let's see what he gives this time. Bombs. Okay. That's unfortunate. Basically, the plan for me right now is to basically clear out all of the south part of the game, like all of South Hyrule, and then go into Swamp Palace from there. So we're gonna do this in the slow way. And upset some chickens in the process. There we go. Not how you want to do that, but sure. Just more money as well. I'm basically looking for fire rod and boots, and I think if I have both of those, then we're pretty much done. I will mention, by the way, up next we would have SM64. If it ends up going a lot faster as we kind of expect to, we might throw in some fast racing league in between. So we will still have the SM64 run later, but I figured I'd mention that real quick. It's always a really cool little racing game. Just another bomb capacity upgrade. That's not going to do it. Okay, here we go. Time for South Hyrule. Switching to the hook shot so I can just make use of that to do like little things like... Oh, okay, that doesn't really want to cooperate then. Sure, I guess that's fine. So into the little cave we go. Let's see what we have over here. Rupees. Now we found that shovel earlier. I'm going to use that shovel over here to unlock, like I said, there's one item you get to show. And it was useless, so the shovel didn't matter in the end. Now there is one more cave left that we're going to check, and it's called Hype Cave. And Hype Cave, well, as the name might suggest, can be quite hype at times. There is 5 items in there. They're all really quick to access, so we're going to see whether Hype Cave is actually going to give us a Hype Cave today. Some dodging of the spears there. Didn't want to get hit there. First, some extra health. Health is really nice because I don't actually have a lot of hearts yet. And even more. That was the Sanctuary heart, actually. And I... Mostly just a lot of health, then. Suppose that's fine. Since I'm already here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Swamp Palace. There is a total of 6 items in that place. But the downside is there's 3 chests that are rather slow to access. So hopefully we're going to find something big early on. I need the mirror here. I already know it's completable, so I figured I might as well go check for this. Make the block despawn there by using the mirror as I'm walking through it. Okay, let's see what this place holds. So this is Swamp Palace. It's probably my favorite dungeon in this game. It's casually one of the easier dungeons, and in the speedrun, it's a dungeon that's not hard in any way, but it's easy to lose little bits of time here and there, because of which it can be kind of finicky for some runners. Like, if you lose time in this place, it's never big, but it adds up, you know. Come on. Let's go down here, see what we have on the ledge here. We get that key in order to open up this part, which is going to open up basically the entire remainder of it. We'll see what we got. Well, there's one item I'm first going to go for after having picked up the key here, because there is a key in the back here. Oh, and first and foremost, I want to go back here, because there's one item in the back here. It's pretty quick to get. I'm going to pick up some health along the way, because I might as well. Now, this is the cool part about the randomizer. These are all rooms that you never get to see when you just run the game normally. But they're so important in this randomizer. Half magic. Half magic is, again, not a required thing, but a really, really helpful thing all in all. Definitely a big find right there. Yeah, this is the big downside of not having the boots. It just becomes really slow to walk through here. I really wonder where the boots are, because at this point, if we find the fire rod, it could basically be about anywhere else. Right now, there are still a few places that are locked behind the fire rod, but there's not a lot. Okay, so I find the big key there, which is actually going to mean that I'm going to make a small detour right about now. Those are both dungeon items, and like skipping dungeon items is always somewhat weird. Like the thing is, if the 3 chests that I would skip, all 3 would have dungeon items, it doesn't matter that I skip them. However, finding the big key there means I can really quickly go to the back here and check what the big chests has. So even though I now know that that chest was useless, it does still give me useful information, because I now also know that despite it being useless, it wasn't one of the dungeon items. And it's specifically that last part that's just information that you kind of want to have. Now this is a chest I always or I never knew existed until we started with the randomizer. If you push a block there, the chest will spawn. So there's one more key over here, so we're gonna pick that up, and then it's time for the boss. If the boss has the last dungeon item, then I may opt to just backtrack and find look for the last 2 items, but I probably won't either way. So this boss sucks. It's awful, especially if you don't have the fight, or if you don't have tempered or golden sword. Here we go. So now I need to hit him with 4 spin attacks. There we go. Let's see what he has. Almost medallion. Okay. So now I know there's at least only 1 more item in this place. So it's just not worth it for me to check that. It's 1 location we're going to skip on account of hoping that it's just going to be somewhere else. We've got plenty of stuff I need to finish up anyway. Feel free to join in. By all means. gonna check the Bombo's medallion here real quick. Let's see what we find on this end. Some more life, some hearts. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we're gonna check 2 more items, and then we're gonna go into Palace of Darkness. Palace of... Oh! Got hit by the bird there. Yeah, let's see what treasure we find. Yes, I'm gonna use my flute in order to now get to the next place. Got a double input there, unfortunately. Oh, come on, really? It really doesn't want to work today. Can the flute do what it's supposed to do? There we go. That bird right there is one of the most annoying birds in the entire game. Like, all of these birds in the Dark World are just a pain. Because they just keep on chasing you forever and ever. And they deal quite a bit of damage as well. We're gonna go find Kiki, the greedy monkey. Kiki, the greedy monkey, is gonna open up the Palace of Darkness. Like I said, 6 items in this place, and I'm gonna need to get one more. There's something I still need to get anyway, so might as well take a quick dive in here, finish up the place while we're at it. I'm gonna go to the right side here, see what this part holds. This is the part for which you actually need the bow, so if I wouldn't have had the bow, all of these items would be locked. So this is the first place where we're going to see the power of the silver arrows. Oh, whoop. If I can actually hit these guys. Hey. There we go. That was awful. Whatever. We're alive. It's all fine. So there's 2 items on this end here. One in the chest over here, and then just outside this room there's another chest. Okay, both of these keys, which is just going to help me unlock places further on in the dungeon. With the way that the logic works, it's always likely you'll find keys both on that end as well as early on, because like otherwise there'd be a chance that you could get locked without finding enough keys. The way that works basically is you're always supposed to be able to open up every locked door, even if you do it in the worst possible combination. So the keys are redistributed, but in such a way that you can never soft lock, which is actually something that used to be a problem in one of the older versions of the randomizer. What am I doing? I don't need the flute, I need the mirror. I go up the other side. And now this is the part where I'm kind of expecting to find most of the items. Like I said, there's 5 items in total in this place. We haven't really seen a lot of them yet, so let's see what we can find. The mushroom, that's an interesting fetch quest item. We can give that to the witch, and that's gonna potentially give me more stuff. Well, it's one new item, but you never know. Just some bombs, so I don't need to go for that. Now, whether or not I find a key here is actually kind of important, because it means I can potentially skip a room. So the big key is fine. Okay, so I found a small key, so I now know there is there's the door down here, there's the door just before the boss, and then there's the door to the left. Because I have 2 keys and there is only one more chest that's not or that would not soft lock me, I know that that last chest would or is forced to be a key. I probably didn't explain that well, but basically I already know that the last item is going to be a key. Because of which I can just skip the room. It's one of those minor things with knowing how the keys are distributed to be able to help me understand whether or not I need to open certain rooms or not. Slightly too far away there. This has to be an item, and then the boss has to have an item. Okay, off to the boss. I still haven't found my fire rod, which means that I can still not go into Skull Woods. It's the only dungeon that I can't finish. We've got like 1 pixel there to be able to move that way. This is another place we're going to use the red cane to do a little bit of a trick here. So you're supposed to push a statue on, but I can also also just use the red cane like that. There we go. So now we just need to wait for the wall to move away. And well, we can go into the last bit, and this is kind of where things are going to get a little bit tougher. Silver arrows are going to make things a lot easier on me, but I still don't really have the sword I'd like to have. I'd really ideally have tempered by now, and not having the boots by this point is kind of weird. Spin. There we go. That's probably one of the cleanest I've ever done that room, to be honest. It's pretty good. Okay, here we go. This is the boss, and we're going to do it in a bit of a weird way. I'm going to hold my sword out, and because of that, I won't actually be pushed back once I've actually hit him. Now that we've done that, I'm going to switch into the silver arrows, and 1 arrow kills him. That's it. That's the entire boss fight. The single mightiest arrow in the universe right there. There is one place where you're going to find 1 arrow. So we're just gonna call that the single most mightiest arrow in the universe. Well, I guess that didn't have it, so we're gonna go for Meyer because, you know, that place is required, so it makes sense to do that next, I suppose. Actually, no, I'm gonna do something slightly different. I think that's smart to do that now. Because there's two places that I'm not really gonna get close to anymore until near the very end. This is the closest I'm gonna be, and I kind of want to check those first. This really feels slow without having the boots right now. There's two items, which is the pyramid and the catfish, which are kind of places that are always kind of just out there. Like they're not that bad to check, but you never really get close enough to properly check them. But coming out of Palace of Darkness is probably my best chance. It's going to make some more use of the hook shot to see what's going on, to make things speed up a bit. It's a hard piece. So this one was useless. Now there is still a catfish, and I remember the very first time I actually raced this in a tournament. I was up against a runner way better than I am, and I was actually in the lead for a little bit until he found the boots at catfish. So I kind of have a bad history with this place. I still don't like going there, but you know, might as well. And I can get the mushroom out of the way while we're at it. See if Pod maybe gave us something useful after all. And give that to the witch. He's gonna go off screen and then go back on screen. That finishes that up. Let's see what it is. Lots and lots of money. You know what? I'm actually gonna just for safety purposes, because I have a lot of money anyway. Okay, let's see what the catfish has. Like I said, this is kind of one of those out there places that you kind of don't want to check, but then again, it could be exactly what I need. It always feels as if more often than not, this place, even though it's so far out of the way, does seem to have something I actually need. Let's see. ₹20, so this entire trip was a waste of my time. Well, off to Meyer, I suppose. So this is the last of the dungeons that's actually required for me to do. That could still have the one thing I still need. Well, I guess it could be in Skull Woods in the first part. It is the vanilla dungeon, which I may check before going into the optional dungeons. There's also still a few items on Death Mountain on the Dark World side of it, so I could still go for that. There's about 4 left. So I've got options, but I'm gonna just go for the options that I know are required either way. I got hit there. That's really unfortunate. That's gonna add 2 extra cycles because I couldn't get the sword beam off, and I got the knockback. So this place is always one of those places you kind of don't want to check for items. There's exactly 2 items in this place, so we may find something. It's not out of the question. But finding the two things I really want to get is really unlikely here. But who knows? If I get the fire rod, I'm still going to be in go mode and be able to finish up the game anyway. The compass, that's not anything I need. It's kind of ironic. The guy that was initially supposed to race me on this, Seven Sins, he actually mentioned beforehand, or he wished me luck and hoped that I wouldn't get trolled by the fire rod or the bow. Well, fire rod it is. He's not sitting behind me anymore. Thought he might still be sitting behind me. Kind of ironic it would end up in that way exactly. Getting trolled by the one item he was hoping I wouldn't get trolled by. Okay, need that key. I hit the switch here, and there's 4 torches here. Now, if I'd have the fire rod, this would be quite quick, but since I don't, I'm going to have to walk all the way around here. There's one item on top here, which could be one of the things. It's the big key. Perfect. Big key kind of required anyway, so might as well. With the big key, I now know that I can finish up this place. I just don't know if the fire rod is here, so I'm going to keep on checking for a little longer. Because I don't have the fire rod, I'm going to just take it a little bit easy on this part. Move away those blocks. Please. There we go. So that opens up a path as to where normally the big key would be. But now it could be just about anything. It could be a small key, in which case, kind of a shame. It could be the map, because I haven't seen the map yet. Or it could be one of the 2 items I need anyway. It's the fire rod. Okay, we are in go mode. Let's go. There is a very small chance I will still need the boots, in which case that really be sad. But if not, we can get almost everything without ever actually getting the boots. So the idea now is I'm going to finish up this place. I'm going to go into Skullwoods, finish that up. It's a really quick place to go for, and then it's on to the final dungeon of the game. So it shouldn't take too long, even bootless, it shouldn't take too long to get this. It's kind of an interesting seed. This is probably the fastest bootless seed I've ever seen, which makes it quite interesting in and of itself. I'm not a big fan of not finding the boots anywhere, but so be it, I suppose. Me restore my health a bit, because the next boss is a pretty tough one. So the next boss, it is possible, especially having the silver arrows, to zero cycle the boss. Meaning I'm going to kill it, I'm going to at least attempt to kill it before I get a single lightning. I've only succeeded at it twice. It's pretty hard to do that, because it requires almost every one of my arrow shots to actually hit. But it's pretty cool if I get it. That's a zero cycle. That's a perfect fight. That makes 3 times. Let's go. Oh, we get the second item as well, so it was a heart piece on the boss. We have the fire rod, which means we can go into swamp or a skull. So we're just about done at this point. So the plan for Skull Woods is pretty simple. We're gonna go up here. It's gonna give me access to the skull, or to the haunted forest, basically, Skull Woods. And the one really cool thing about this is I can just instantly rush to the boss. None of this place is actually required, except for like a really tiny part. Which is also why this is always a nice dungeon to do last. Or at least once you've actually hit go mode. So all I need to be able to actually get there is the fire rod, which is normally locked behind the big key chest. For which you would then normally need the big key and one small key. Conveniently enough, there is one small key over there. We're gonna open up this place and off we go. Skull Woods is also one of the dungeons that if you're not in go mode and it's not a required dungeon, it's one you'll still very often check because it always seems to have something useful. I need to hit that mummy over there for yet another one. Just gets me a small key, which I can use to open up this door, and we can go for the boss over here. Now with just the Master Sword, this is a pretty tough fight, so let's see if we can do it. Luckily, the Fire Rod helps quite a bit. This is where the half magic really shines. I always have to watch out to not hit him into the spikes, because at that point he really doesn't take any damage anymore. The way it's programmed, basically, is that if you hit him into the spikes, you're not going to get damage, because otherwise the spikes running around the floor would damage him as well. Got him relatively quickly there. So off to the final dungeon. So yeah, when I got this seed, we already knew that this was going to be a seed somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. So I played it conservative with the 2-hour estimate, and we made sure to have a backup run for in between in case it went really far under. I am going to make a quick stop in Hookshot Cave to see if I can maybe find another sword upgrade. Because doing this with just the Master Sword is kind of painful. Oh, here we go. Okay, so because of the Super Bunny glitch earlier, I already got everything else in Death Mountain. So I can just take the quick path here. So you need to actually hit these in a very specific order, so we're going to hit them in counterclockwise. The Bombos was required for T-Rock, interesting. That doesn't tell me a whole lot new, but... So this place is not required right now, but it has 4 chests, and if it has a sword, it would greatly speed up the next part. If it would have the boots, it'd speed it up even more. Just gonna check it real quick. A shield, the first shield in the game. Okay, so aside from the really small little shield over there, nothing big. That makes this next part a little bit more difficult because it means that I can't actually get around here by hitting these guys. These guys don't take damage from the Master Sword. It's too weak. Well, here we go. Final dungeon. Okay, so we're gonna check two chests on the right here. Let's see what these two chests have. A single rupee and the blue cane. Blue cane is kind of cool. It's a lot of defense, but probably not required. Okay, the small key there is a little bit unfortunate, but we shouldn't have any major problems with that. So 4 skeletons in this room, or 3 skeletons, 4 chests in this room. Another heart. Some more bombs. A better sword, finally. And a small key. Okay, not bad, not bad. And just hookshot all the way over there. Wait for that thing to pass, and there we go. The better sword is going to make the fight against Ganondorf a little bit, Ganon a little bit easier. Or at this point, in order to be able to go to the upper floor, I need 1 small key and the big key. We already have the small key. Now I just need to find a big key relatively quickly. Some teleporters. We're gonna use a bomb in order to break open the wall there. There's 4 more chests. Problem is, right now I don't have a small key, so I need to find a small key and a big key at this point. A boomerang. And some more hearts. That means we actually can do a trick that you only see 1 in 100 times. It is a bomb jump that's normally not done on SNES ever. However, it is used in GBA, which is how I actually learned that specific trick. Couple of teleporters. Gonna get rid of those guys real quick. They're kind of annoying. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna kill that guy real quick. Stand there, place a bomb. And that gets me to the other side. So over here we have our friend Bob. We're gonna kill Bob. Small key, good. Now I need the big key. Having the silver arrows, this part isn't too difficult. So let's make it a quick fight. There we go. Really clean fight. More arrows, rupees, and a better shield. Well, we did not get the key I wanted. Which means there's 2 more locations. And this is really hard to do without the boots. So I don't know if I'm gonna get this first try. This is seriously difficult. Get everything out of the way first, and kill that mummy. That's probably not fast enough. Okay. Okay, we got it. First try. I don't have a small key at the moment, but I can pick one up pretty nearby. Okay, there we go. We got what we needed. But now I need that small key. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over there, and there we go. Let's finish the game. So this is where stuff is going to get really difficult. Bow and arrow. Okay, there we go. We're gonna manipulate these guys to move over there. Okay, this next room is tricky, so I'm gonna focus for just a little bit. Ooh, didn't get it on the second one there. There we go. It was the fire rod. The fire rod got me stuck. As you predicted. I also still don't have the boots. Let's get a little bit fewer spikes there. I still got hit anyway. Okay, so now we're going to be coming up on the gauntlet. This is a couple of rooms with a couple enemies that I just need to kill as quickly as I can. Of course, I missed my first shot and just... Okay, not a great first room, but we backed it up pretty quickly. Okay, where did my arrow go? This room is a lot easier with the boots, but that worked as well. Just gonna do it for safety anyway. I really shouldn't need this, but that's fine. It's too late on my arrow shot. That's unfortunate. Of course, of course. Hey, it wouldn't be a marathon without everything going wrong, right? Well, I hit one of them. Not really the one I was aiming for, but sure. That's how those arrows were supposed to go in. Okay, the next room has 3 whiz robes, which we're just gonna quickly deal with. Easy every time. This one's a little bit harder. Okay, so the timing on this one is a little bit more precise because of not being able to run. I'm gonna get rid of these pots. Switch into the fire rod. Here we go. It is possible without the fire rod, or without the boots. I need that key in just a little bit. Okay, time for Moldworm 2. Let's see if we can get him. This guy is notorious for pushing you off the ledge here. It's quite painful when it does. Validation chest has the map. Okay, sure. That chest is not by any means required, but I always just pick it up anyway. Hey, this room is awful if you don't have the cape. With the cape, it's pretty easy because you can just use the cape to get through. But if you don't have the cape, it's awful. I luckily still have a red potion and a blue potion, so I should be fine regardless. Okay, before last boss of the game. So, Rickles, you might want to get ready on time. It's going to be coming up in a couple of minutes. Okay, double. That's decent. That's 4. Ah, shame that was blue balls. Otherwise, I would have gotten a 3 cycle. There we go. Quick 4 cycle. Not terrible. I'm generally really bad at that fight. So, pretty decent by my standard. Okay, final boss of the game. So in advance, time will be as I walk through the door after I kill Ganon. So it takes 12 hits per cycle. First he's going to throw around his staff for the first one. Then we're going to get into the fire bat phase, which is... personally, I always find that the hardest phase to work with. And from there on, because I have the silver arrows, it's going to be a lot easier again. I might as well, actually. This is going to lag the game a bit, but hopefully I can skip around because of it. It's going to be close. I have a blue potion anyway, so... Got him. Got him into the third phase in one go. So he's gonna break apart the side of this thing. And after I hit him 4 times, he's gonna make this room look quite dark. Missed him. Didn't want to risk falling off there. I'm gonna try to go for a glitch called Torch Glitch. Got it. So now it takes 4 silver arrows to get him down. Oh, I thought I got a hit in on him. Oh well. Okay, get ready on time. Time. So yeah, that's Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, but then randomized. I believe next up is going to be Division with fast racing if Division is down for it. And after that, we're going to do some Super Mario.